He's done 3 different things with me. The first one was I had on the bottom of my right foot, on the ball of my right foot. It felt, every time I walked on it, it just felt like there was something there and it hurt. I went to a podiatrist and without barely even hardly looking at it, she said, oh, well, you need surgery. Inside I'm saying, you didn't even really look at it. And she said, and then when we're in there doing that surgery, we can take care of your bunion. My bunion didn't even hurt. And so I left there and I called Dan and I said, Dan, I don't want to have surgery on the ball, on my foot, on my toes and everything. And he said, well, we'll try some ozone. This was about 3 years ago. I think it was when he was very first starting up. And he gave me the very first ozone treatment he did on that foot. It helped immensely. And then he did like 2 or 3 other treatments just to kind of make sure. And that was, like I said, I think it was around 3 years ago, and I have not had a pain on the ball of my foot since then. The next thing was my ankle, same foot. And this problem started like 5 or 6 years ago. Every once in a while I'd be walking and I'd just take a step and my ankle would just buckle. And then I'd keep walking and it didn't. And that buckling would happen maybe once, when it started, maybe once a month. And then as the years went on, then it was maybe a little bit more frequent. Got to where it was happening quite often, like several times a week. So I said, Dan, can you help me with my ankle? And he did ozone treatments on my ankle. It took about the first treatment, you could tell it was better. It didn't buckle as often. And then I had another treatment and it was buckling less. And then 3 or 4 treatments altogether, maybe 5, and then no more. And my ankle stopped buckling. And I didn't have it buckle not one time for a year. And then after a year, one day out of the blue, it just buckled again. And I went in the next day and he did 1 ozone treatment and it hasn't buckled since. It's amazing. Honestly, it took me a long time to even do it because I wasn't real sure about this alternative stuff. I'm an older person and this was like all new and I just wasn't sure. But once I did it and I saw that it worked, and then I have one more story. My forearm here was bugging me. When I would move a certain way, the inside of my forearm hurt, like as if I had pulled a muscle or something, and went to my general practitioner person and eventually had an MRI. And the MRI said I had a torn rotator cuff, which really surprised me because I had no problems with my shoulder. My shoulder didn't hurt. I have full range of motion, but it said I had rotator cuff. Well, then they wanted me to go to orthopedic doctor, and I didn't even want to go because I thought he's just going to tell me I need surgery. So I went to Dan again. And I told him where it hurt here, and then he has given me several ozone treatments on my arm and then also on the shoulder, even though I keep telling him it doesn't hurt, Dan. But he did some treatment there and some treatment there, and that doesn't hurt anymore. That's my story.